repository annotation, controller annotation, REST controller annotation. And also we have discussed about configuration annotation, and at the time of discussing configuration annotation, right? Within the configuration only, we also discussed about one more annotation called what, at the rate bean annotation. Okay, at the rate bean annotation. Right. And I told, suppose if you write annotation at the rate bean, it is actually method level. And what is indicating that this method will produce an object, and this object should be stored into the Spring container. Correct. So the object will be stored in the Spring container. I told with method name as ID. For example, if the method name is JDBC template, then the object of JDBC template class will be stored in the Spring container with an ID called by using an ID or with an ID called JDBC template. It is going to use method name as its ID, correct? Method name as ID. And if you want to customize the ID, then you can pass to the bean annotation. Like you know already, we can use two attributes here, either value attribute or name attribute. And if you are writing value attribute, then no need of writing value attribute name. Directly we can pass the ID. This is what in the last class we have discussed, which is related to configuration annotation. Now, so basically this is one annotation that is to mark or indicate that this class is a Java configuration class. So in a Java configuration class, we can create the bean methods. So when we start the Spring container, we are going to see that while starting the Spring container, we are going to provide the Java configuration class as parameter. Then the Spring container will execute all the bean methods that are available in the configuration class. These bean methods are automatically executed by the Spring container, because we are going to provide this configuration class as a parameter to the Spring container. We are going to see how to pass that. So when you pass the configuration class as a parameter to the Spring container, then what happens? The Spring container is now going to automatically execute all the bean methods that are available in the Spring container. It is going to execute the bean methods that are available in the Spring configuration class. Okay. So we are going to look at that, how we can able to do that. I'll tell you. Now today, we want to discuss about something called component scan. Okay. Let's start having a discussion on what is component scan annotation. See, in Spring, I told that there is one facility available called components auto scanning. What does it mean? It means Spring container only. I repeat once again. I want to repeat once again. Who only? Spring container. Spring or simply Spring framework only, better word. Okay, Spring framework only is going to search for the Spring bean classes. Okay. So in components auto scanning, okay, the feature name is called auto scanning. Components auto scanning. Components auto scanning. So what is going to happen during this components auto scanning feature? The Spring only is going to scan for the components. Means what? Spring will search for the Spring bean classes and it automatically registers them in the application context. That's a Spring container. So what Spring will do now? Spring will search for the bean classes. We no need to tell the container that this is a bean class, that is a bean class. that is another bean class. Like in XML file, how we are writing. In XML file, we are writing by using what tag? Suppose you are writing an XML file. In XML file, you are writing a tag called bean. Okay, root tag is beans, I agree. But you are writing multiple times bean tag. By writing bean tag, you are telling the Spring container what? This is one Spring, this is one bean class, this is another bean class, this is another bean class. You are telling like that. To whom you are telling? You are telling to the container. You are telling to the container that this is one bean class, this is another bean class, this is another bean class. Like that, you are telling to the container by writing in XML file. By writing in XML file. But now you no need to tell. First of all, we are not writing in XML file now. Second thing is what? You no need to tell the container. You no need to tell the container that this is a bean class, that is another bean class, that is another bean class, like that. You no need to tell. Who will automatically scan and identify? Spring only. Spring will scan our code, and it will identify the bean classes and will register them with the Spring container. This feature in Spring is called components auto scanning. But what we need to tell the Spring what we need to tell to the Spring is, we need to tell the Spring framework that scan for the components this package. What we need to provide to the Spring? We need to tell the Spring which package of my project it has to scan. Which package it has to scan. If you tell the package name, then Spring will start searching for the bean classes in that package. What we need to provide to the Spring? Package name we need to provide. If you provide some package name to the Spring, if you provide some package name to whom? Spring. To the Spring, if you provide the package name, are you able to follow me? If you provide the package name to the Spring, what Spring will do? If you provide the package name to the Spring, then Spring will start searching. It will search in the package name what you provided to the Spring. Not only this package, if it has any sub packages, for example, this package has sub package 1, sub package 2, sub package 3. Suppose there are 3 sub packages are there for this package. Example. Then if I tell this package name to the Spring, Spring will search in the given package, and also it will start searching in the sub packages. Means I am providing what? Base package name to the Spring. What I am providing? Base. Which package name I need to provide to the Spring? Base package name I need to provide to the Spring. If I provide the base package, then Spring will start searching from that base package, and also will continue searching in sub packages also to identify the Spring bean classes, and will register them with the Spring container. Question: how does it identify this class? This class is a Spring bean class, or it is not a Spring bean class? How does a Spring will identify that this is a Spring bean class and this is not a Spring bean class in this package? Yes. So while searching, Spring is going to look for component annotation at a class level. Which annotation? Component. Component annotation means what? Either component or it's a child annotation. It is going to search for either component or it's a child. Who is a child annotation of component? You know, service, repository, controller, even REST controller, configuration. These are all called child, okay, annotations only. So it is Spring is now going to search for component or it's a child annotation at a class level. Okay, and if any component or it's a child annotation is available on class level, then Spring will identify that what? It is a Spring bean class. And what Spring will do now, will register it with the Spring container. Will register with the Spring container. Are you able to follow me, right? So what I should provide to the Spring container? Base package name I need to provide. Package name I need to provide, or base package name I need to provide. Am I clear with that? And for that, which annotation I have to use to tell the Spring that this is the base package name from where you need to search? By using this annotation. What is the annotation? Component scan. So one more thing. So where I can write this component scan annotation? I can write this component scan annotation at a class level. This is what level annotation? Class level annotation. Means we cannot use at what levels? At method levels or field levels, or at the constructor level or parameter level. We cannot use this. We can only use it at what level? Class level. The annotation name is called what? At the rate component scan. Okay, very good. And this component scan annotation, we are going to write on configuration class. I'll tell you why we write this annotation configuration class. Because while starting the Spring container, we are going to pass the configuration class name to the Spring container. We are going to provide the configuration class to the Spring container. I'll tell you how to pass that configuration class. Which class we are going to provide to the Spring container while starting the Spring container? Configuration class. If it is XML file, we are providing XML file name. Class path XML application context of. We are passing what to the what as a parameter? XML file. While starting the Spring container in annotations, we are going to provide what as a parameter? Configuration class as parameter. Which class? Configuration class. If I add this annotation at configuration class, then Spring container will automatically identify which packages it has to start, or from which package it has to start for scanning. So where should I write this annotation component scan now? At the configuration class I should write. Because while starting the Spring container, we are going to provide what as a parameter? Configuration class we are going to pass like a parameter. So when configuration class is provided to the Spring container as a parameter, if this annotation is also available at the configuration class level, then automatically Spring will start also what? Component scan. Spring will start what scanning? Component scanning. So that's why we should write this annotation at what level? Configuration class level. At class level only, but at configuration class level. Okay, right. See, for example, I will tell you. There is an element available like this. Let me first delete this better. I want to open component scan annotation like yesterday what I have opened to you. Now this is component scan annotation. Target type means, I told in the last class, if the target is fixed as a type, which means what? It is a class type. It is a class type. And one more thing. If at the rate repeatable, try to understand, sir. If at the rate repeatable annotation is also available, well, in any annotation, if you find at the rate repeatable on top of it, it means this annotation we can repeat for more than one time also. This annotation we can repeat for more than one time also. More than one time also. What does it mean? For example, just for example, again I'll explain here. For example, I am writing one configuration class like this. At configuration is annotation. At configuration, if I again write at configuration, and if I write public class, my class name is appconfig, and some methods I'm writing. Okay, by writing this at configuration, we are marking that this class is a Java configuration class. Am I right or not? But you can look at this. How many times I'm repeating this annotation at the class level? 2 times I'm repeating. 2 times I'm repeating. If I repeat 2 times like this, I will get compile time error. This is compile time error. We can't repeat like this. For example, I am writing, understand, at component, again at component by mistake or wantedly you copy pasted the same annotation again, then public class customer. For example, I'm writing. Don't worry. What I'm writing here? Component. How many times I'm repeating? 2 times. This is also going to give you compile time error. Why? Because these are not repeatable annotations. These are not repeatable annotations. Sir, how do you know whether it is a repeatable or not a repeatable annotation? If you want to know that, you open the documentation of that annotation and verify @repeatable is available or not. What is available or not? @repeatable. If @repeatable is available on annotation, which means that annotation is repeatable annotation. Otherwise, it is not a repeatable annotation. Okay. Now, let us do one thing. Everybody, let us do one thing. Suppose I'm writing. Everybody try to understand. You have to understand all these things. Okay. Observe here, guys. Observe here. I am writing @configuration, @component scan. Again, I am writing @component scan. Of course, I'll tell you later, but I'm writing 2 times like this. Now, will I get any error now? No error. It is correct. Because component scan is what here? It is repeatable. It is repeatable. You can see it is repeatable. It is repeatable. Which one is repeatable? Component scan. Component scan is repeatable. Repeatable. Are you able to follow me? It is repeatable. Try to understand that. Repeatable. Okay. So please try to understand the concept clearly. When can I repeat the same annotation more than once? When can I repeat the same annotation more than once? If that annotation is a repeatable annotation. How do you know whether it is repeatable or not a repeatable? How do you know whether it is repeatable or not a repeatable? See the documentation and verify repeatable is present or not. Repeatable is present or not. Am I clear with that? Good. Next. I just want to tell you. The understand elements. There are many elements are there. These we do not want to discuss everything, but I want to tell you something. There is one element available called what? Base packages. There is an element available called what? Base packages. We have something called base packages available. So this is telling what? Base packages to scan for annotated components. Similarly, one more element available called what? What is it? Value. Value is nothing but is also alias for what only? Base packages. Which means I can use to provide the package names. I can use base packages element. Otherwise, I can use value parameter. I can use either base packages parameter. Otherwise, I can pass value parameter. Any parameter I can use either base packages or value. Okay. Come to the point. Again, I'll explain. So remaining things I am not explaining right now, but presently only 2 elements or parameters I want to explain. What are the 2 parameters? Base packages parameter, value parameter. Both I should write or any one is okay? Any one is okay. Any one is okay because value is nothing but alias for what only? Base packages only. So both we are not writing. Anyone is okay. Anyone is okay. Please try to understand. And I just want to show you to get clarity.
So what is modifier type? Is it the pass like string will be only accepted in this case of base package? In the
Value for
modifier
this
type
parameter should be string array.
array only. Okay.
Value for this, you are passing a value for this parameter, right?
Right. Right.
Parameter name is equal to value. That value could be string array.
String array. Okay.
String array. String array means you can pass either single string or multiple strings in the array. Array can have a single string or multiple string, means one package name or multiple package names.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes. Next, let's go to @configuration, because in the last class also I opened this. Very good. You know, configuration is an annotation available here. Good. Tell me, on top of the configuration, are you finding anywhere repeatable? Now, means configuration is a repeatable annotation or non-repeatable annotation? Non-repeatable. But what about component scan? Component scan is a repeatable annotation. Okay. Okay. Good. Just to show you one more example. Please look at this again. Tell me, what is the annotation name? Property source that we are going to see next. I'm going to explain next. But you can see what annotation is available on top of it. Repeatable means, tell me, this annotation is repeatable or not repeatable? It is repeatable annotation. So component scan is a repeatable annotation. Property source annotation is also repeatable annotation. So both are repeatable annotations. What and what are repeatable annotations? Component scan is a repeatable annotation and the property source is also a repeatable annotation. Both are repeatable annotations. Both are repeatable annotations. Repeatable annotations. Please remember that. Next, one more thing I'll explain. See here, I'll tell you how to write it. Suppose in my project, look at this. In my project, I have packages like this. Please understand. I have packages like com.pack dot controller, com.pack dot service, com.pack dot repository, com.pack dot, these are the packages I have, com.pack dot model, com.pack dot entity, something like that. Suppose in my project, I have my packages names like this. Okay. Tell me, com.pack.controller. Write it in a hierarchical manner. This is a package name, right? But you know, in package name, com is called the base package folder. Pack is the sub package folder of com. Controller is a sub package folder of pack. Package is a folder. Sub pack is a folder. Tell me, what's the base folder? Com. Com. Tell me, under com, what next? Pack. Under pack, what next? Controller. This is the hierarchy of this package. Very good. Tell me, com.pack.service. Com is a base package folder. Pack, Subpackage folder, service, subpackage folder of pack, not controller, of pack. Means this is a service folder. Am I right or not? What's the package name of this? com.pack.controller. What's the package name of service? com.pack.service. Similarly, repository. Similarly, model. Similarly, entity. Am I right? So you'll be having this type of package structure. This is a package structure. Tell me, for controller, service, repository, model, and entity, who is the parent? Pack. For pack, who is the parent package? Com. So tell me, com.pack is the parent or base for these all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sub packages? Yes. Now tell me, to tell the Spring that scan for the Spring Bean classes in controller, in service, in repository, in model, in entity. Able to follow me? In all, controller, service, repository, model, entity, in everyone. Then tell me what's the base package name to tell the Spring? com.pack. If I tell the Spring com.pack, then you tell me what Spring will start? He is going to scan for the Bean classes starting from com.pack. In com.pack, what are the childs? Subpackages are available. Controller, service, repository, model, entity. For example, if I'm telling the Spring scan com.pack.controller, then Spring will only scan which package? Controller package only. Only this part it will package. Sorry, this part it will scan, and remaining it won't scan. Am I able to follow me now? That's why at the time of writing, we should specify the base package name correctly. If you write the base package name as com.pack.controller, then it is only going to scan for the Bean classes in which package? Controller, but not going to scan for what? Service, repository, model, and also what? Entity. It is not going to scan the service, not going to scan the repository, model, or what? Entity. It is not going to do that. Only it is going to scan com.pack.controller. Am I clear with that? Did you guys understood what is the point here? Am I clear with that? Excellent. Excellent. That's why you guys need to understand it. What happens if I tell only com? What happens if I say the Spring search scan the base package called com? Then okay, no problem, because what Spring will do? Spring will start searching from com and also will enter into sub packages. Who is a sub package of com? Pack. Who is a sub package of pack? Controller, service, repository, model, and entity. Tell me, Spring is now going to scan this entire com package or not? This a com is a base package. It is going to scan everything. Com is also correct. Com.pack is also correct. But if you write com.pack.controller, then it will only, the Spring will only scan the com.pack.controller, and Spring obviously is not going to scan for what? Service, repository, model. It is not going to scan. That is how you need to understand how to specify the base package name. For example, next, I'm going to, of course, give you. Listen to me. In my project, I have packages like this. com.pack. Okay. For example, please understand. com.account.controller, com.account.service. Next, org.loan.controller, org.loan.service. There are some packages are available like this. Now, could you guys tell me, first of all, the hierarchy of these first two packages? COM is a package folder. Account is a sub package folder. Tell me under account, what are again the sub package folders? Controller. Controller is okay. Next one, service. Service is also okay. COM account. Then there is what? Controller and service. Tell me this controller and service, both are the sub package of what? Account. Account is a sub package of what? COM. COM account, controller and service. Are you able to get my point? Please try to understand this. Okay. COM account. And now tell me, what about org.loan.controller? Org is a sub package folder of COM, or it is another package folder? It is a separate package folder. It's a separate package folder. What is a separate package folder? Org. What is the sub package folder? Loan. What is sub package folder? Controller. And other one is service. Now tell me, in this case, if I tell the Spring, the base package is com.account. If I'm telling the Spring that this is the base package you scan to identify the Spring Bean classes. For identifying the components, scan this com.account. If I'm telling the Spring, then tell me what the Spring will scan. The controller and the service, the two sub packages of com.account. Correct? But doesn't scan what? Org, loan and all. Now tell me, in this case, I should tell the Spring that you should scan one base package or multiple base packages? Multiple base packages. One base package is what? Com.account, comma. Another base package is what? org.loan. Able to follow me now? So how can I tell the Spring that you need to scan com.account package and also need to scan the base package called org.loan? By using this annotation. Which annotation? @component scan. Where do you write this annotation? At the class level. At which class we write this annotation in Spring? Configuration class. At which class? Configuration class. Can I repeat this annotation? Can I repeat this annotation for more than once? Yes. Because it is repeatable annotation or not? Yes, it is a repeatable annotation, so we can repeat for more than once. Now you observe it. Now again you observe it. For example, I'm writing like this. At configuration, at a component scan, are you guys are getting my point? What I'm writing? @configuration, next one @component scan, @configuration, @component scan. Next here I'm writing base packages is equal to, because I told you this is called one parameter. What and what are same parameters? Value and okay, I want to write value also, but first I want to explain. Base packages is equal to. Tell me, if there is only one base package, you can write as a string com.pack, for example. Then public class app config. Am I clear with all these things? Inside that you are writing some bean methods. Then tell me, what is the element I am passing? base packages. How many base packages are there? Single base package there. What's the single base package name? Com.pack. I can specify like this. Then tell me Spring will start searching for the components from which base package? Com.pack. And he's going to search for the components and then he's going to register them in the Spring container. Very good. If multiple base packages are there, for example, com.account, org.loan, according to our explanation. If there are multiple base packages, then what you have to do is start the curly brace, because array, string array. If you want to store some array of strings in a variable, then tell me you are going to use curly brace. Yes, suppose I'm creating a string array like this. String array, suppose array name is names is equal to, tell me, I want to store Jack, Jill, Jeffrey. Jack, Jill, Jeffrey. 3 names into this array. Then how can I assign the values Jack, Jim, and Jeffrey into this array? Start the curly brace. Start the curly brace. What I can write? Double quotes I can write. Double quotes. Jack, Jill, Jeffrey. Are you creating like this now? So if there is more than one string, then you have to keep the strings in curly braces. Similarly, here also, if more than one base package you want to specify, then start what? Curly brace. Curly brace and start writing here. For example, com.account, comma, org.loan. Did you guys understood now? Right. So tell me, in place of base packages, what are the other element available? Value. You can write value or base package, that's up to you. So when should I start these curly braces? If you want to specify more than one base package. If you want to specify single base package, then curly braces are optional. Optional. If you want, you can write, but optional. For a single value, curly braces are optional. For multiple values, curly braces is mandatory. Okay? Good. Another way. Because this is important to understand for the entire Spring, Spring Boot, and microservices. Next. Otherwise, you can also do one thing. This is a flexibility that you can write like this. At component scan, double quotes start, com.account. Why I'm not writing value is equal to, you know that. You know that why I'm not writing value is equal to. This is a very common point in annotations. What is that? You are writing annotation with how many parameters? Single parameter. And that parameter name is value. If the parameter name is value, what can you do? If the parameter name is value, what can you do? You can avoid. You can omit that parameter name. You can omit or avoid it. Means there is no need of writing what? Value is equal to. That's why I'm not writing. I'm not writing. You know that? Okay, you know that? Good. See, again I'm writing. At component scan, org.loan. Even this is also correct. Public class app config. Did you guys understood what I am trying to explain you here? So this time I am writing separately. So can I repeat this annotation? Yes, because it is a repeatable annotation. If it is not a repeatable annotation, then I can't repeat. But I know that it's a repeatable, I can repeat like this. So there are multiple options are available. You can choose any one. But mostly we are not going to repeat the annotation. It's repeatable, but generally we don't repeat. We don't want to write multiple times like this. Multiple base packages we are going to provide with a single annotation only. Suppose if you have multiple base packages. Are you able to get my point now? So which annotation that we discussed here? Component scan. Where do you write this annotation? Where do you write this annotation? At the class level. At class level. At which class generally we are going to write this annotation? At a configuration class we are going to write this. Okay. What are the elements that we are going to provide with this annotation? Value or base packages. Okay. Mostly we are going to use value only, because if I use value, then there is no need of writing the attribute or parameter name is not required. That's why we are going to use value, not the base package. If you wanted base package, that is also a good idea. You can use, because values alias for base package only. We can add either value or base package. Both are correct. Both are correct. Okay, good. I have given all the explanation, but now I am going to write the statements. Component scan. So tell me, first of all, it is method level or class level? It is a class level annotation. It is a class level annotation. Okay, all right. Tell me, what is the purpose of this annotation? It is used to specify the base package. I'm writing in brackets, yes, maybe one or multiple. It is specify the base packages for components auto scanning. For components, what? Auto scanning. If you specify the base package, then what Spring will do? If you specify a base package, then what the Spring will do? Then Spring will search or scan any word. Tell me. Spring will search or scan for the Spring Bean classes or Spring Bean components from the base package and it will reach out to sub packages also. Means it's scanning the sub package. That's what reach out to sub packages also. Am I clear with that? It will reach out to sub packages also. That's what going to happen in the component scan. Am I clear with that? Very good. So at which class level we are going to write this annotation? Yes. This annotation is used at a configuration class. It's a class level, but we are going to use a configuration class. Okay, right. So can we repeat this annotation? Yes. It is a repeatable annotation. Which means we can repeat the same annotation more than once at the class level. We can repeat this annotation more than once at the class level. Very good. That's it. I just want to write example 1. See, at configuration, at component scan, value is equal to, I told in place of value, we can also write what? In place of value, we can also write what? Base packages. Okay, value is equal to com dot account. Again, I'm writing at component scan. Next, what I'm writing? Value is equal to what I'm writing? arg.loan. Okay, some names doesn't matter. Public class app config. Some methods we can write. We want to close this class first. Later we'll see what methods we can able to write. Okay, example 2. Of course, I told value is mandatory or optional? Optional, that you take care. Okay, because you know that point. Example 2. Same thing I'm writing at configuration. What's the next one? At a component scan. Value is equal to, can I specify both base package at a time? Yes. How can I specify? Within curly braces. Com dot account, comma, arg dot loan. Public class app config. So am I clear with the examples here? Like this, we can specify more than one. And tell me now, here value is equal to is compulsory or optional? Optional, because you are writing this annotation with how many parameters? One parameter. What is the name of the parameter? Value. If the name of the parameter is value, what can you do? We can avoid that. We can avoid. If we avoid it now, then our package is going to be com.account and next one is org.load. These are the two base packages I have now. That's it. This is how we are going to write the component scan. Am I clear with that? This is how we are going to do the component scan. Right, good. Now, coming to the point. You know, when we are looking about starting the Spring container, suppose I have created one XML file called beans.xml. Suppose I have created an XML file called what? Beans.xml file I have created. Now you tell me if suppose my file is beans.xml file, then how can I able to start the Spring container by providing this as a parameter? By passing this beans.xml file as parameter, how to start the Spring container? By passing this file application context is equal to, tell me, new class path XML application context class path XML application context of for the file name beans.xml. We are going to provide this file as a string parameter. But today, are we writing the XML file? No. We want to use completely annotations only. We don't want to use XML. Now, for this, to start the Spring container, we have to use annotation config application context class. Okay. So tell me, which class I have to use? Annotation config application context. As you know that this is also another implementation class of application context. If you look at the diagram, application context interface has three implementation classes. Okay. So when to use class path XML application context or file system XML application context, the name only telling XML, which means if you have written XML file for the configuration, but we are not adding XML file now, then tell me, we are adding configuration through XML file or annotation? That's why the class name is what? Annotation config application context. Now from today onwards, we are not going to use what? Class path XML application context today, and from today onwards, we are going to use what? Annotation config application context. Okay, very good. But what should I pass as parameter? Not the XML file. We should pass configuration class. What we should pass? Configuration class. Tell me, what is my configuration class name here? What is my configuration class name here? App config. So I want to write my statement like this. Look at this. Application context. Look at this. Everyone, application context. CTX or context is equal to new. What's the class name? Annotation config. Annotation config application context of am I right or not? Once again, tell me what is that? Annotation config application context of what can I pass? App config dot class. We should pass class object. This is a way of passing, sir. Simply. Not only just class name with extension dot class. Provide the configuration class name with the dot class extension as parameter. So whenever the Spring container starts, now from this class object, means this configuration, first it is going to check whether it is a configuration class or not. If it is a configuration class, then it will identify is there any component scan available or not. Then what Spring will do? Spring will start. Spring will start searching for the Spring Bean classes from the given base packages, and also will reach out to sub packages and will register all of them in the Spring container. After that, it will execute all the bean methods that are defined in this class. Tell me, in this one statement, what Spring will do? Spring is going to complete the auto scanning. Will complete what? Auto scanning, and also immediately will execute bean methods defined in the configuration class. I told yesterday in the configuration class we are going to create bean methods by using @bean annotation. So tell me, in this configuration class, if there are 3 bean methods I have created, how many? 3. Then you tell me all the 3 bean methods are executed automatically. Who will execute them? Spring container. If 3 bean methods are executed, each bean method produce what? Object. That object will be stored in what? Container. Now tell me the 3 objects are also stored in the container now. Very good. Tell me, bean methods are automatically executed or we need to call them? Automatically executed. Who will execute the bean methods? Spring container. When you start the Spring container, it will execute the bean methods also. Whatever the bean methods are available in the configuration class. Am I clear with that? So tell me, which implementation class of application context interface we have to use to start the Spring container now? Annotation config application context. When to use class path XML or file system XML application context? If the configuration is defined in, what file? XML file, then you need to use class path XML application context or file system XML application context. But if you are working with annotations and you are not adding an XML file, then which annotation that you have to use? Sorry, which class you have to use? Annotation config application context. Okay. Tell me, what is the parameter we should provide? Configuration class. Configuration class. Very good. If configuration class contains bean methods, then automatically bean methods are also executed. Before executing the bean methods, first Spring is going to start auto scanning from the given base packages. And also will reach out to the sub packages, will identify the Spring Bean components and will register in the container. In the Spring container, they are got registered. Then bean methods are also executed, and those beans are also registered or stored in the Spring container. Very good. Try to understand. One more. Suppose, assume that I have created 2 configuration classes. Can I create multiple configuration classes? Is my question. Can I create multiple configuration classes in my project? Yes, we can. For example, I have written one configuration class at configuration, and of course at component scan is also available here. Leave about that. Public class app config 1. So how many configuration classes we can able to write? How many configuration classes we can able to write or we can define? Multiple. At configuration, at a component scan. Next, what I'm writing? Public class app config 2. So tell me, there are 2 configuration classes are available now. If there are 2 configuration classes are available, while starting the Spring container, we should pass both the configuration classes. then who will automatically execute the bean methods available in the first configuration class and also the bean methods available in the second configuration class? Spring container only will do that. Very good. Understand it, everybody? Then how to pass? I'm writing in statement. Application context. Context is equal to new. What's the class name? Annotation config. Application context. Just I'm writing in shortcut. Okay. AC of. If it is one configuration file, sorry, if one configuration class, then I can write that class name dot class. But this time how many? 2. If there are 2 classes, there is a difference. If it is one class, what can I write? App config dot class. Easy? Easy? Good. If 2 configuration classes are available, let's say more than one, config 1, config 2, config 3, like that. In that case, what should I do? In that case, I have to pass class array as parameter. How to create a class array? I'll tell you. New class array of app config 1 dot class comma app config 2 dot class. If more than multiple configuration classes are available, then you should pass like this. You have to create what array? Class array. This is called creating a class array. You know, I'll explain. That's why core Java is important. Again, I'm repeating. Int array. ARR is equal to, or ARR semicolon. Tell me, are you creating the array or are you declaring the array? The statement is called array declaration or array creation or array initialization. What is this? This is called array declaration. Array, you are declaring the array. What's the array name? ARR. You are declaring what type of array? Integer array. If I write ARR is equal to new int of 10. This is called creation. This is called what? Creation. This is called what? Declaration. Array declaration. This is called what? Array creation. Array creation. This is declaration. This is called what? Creation. Generally, what we do? We combine declaration plus creation. If you combine both of them, what's the one line? What's the one line? Int array ARR is equal to new int of 10. Tell me, in this statement, what and what are completed? Declaration plus creation is done. Declaration plus creation has happened. Are you able to follow me? Very good. Again. Understand it. This time, I am writing like this. Next, I am changing my statement. Observe it. Int array ARR is equal to new int of, start the curly brace, 20 comma 15 comma 39 comma 7 comma 12. For example, I'm writing semicolon. In this line, 3 things are completed. What are the 3 things completed? Declaration completed, creation completed, initialization also completed. This is called what plus what plus what? Declaration plus creation plus initialization. Here array declared, array created, and array initialized. Almost this right side statement and my statement is also looking same. But tell me here, this is called what array? Integer array, int type. But this is what array? Class array. That's it. That's the difference. If there are multiple configuration classes are available, then we should pass what type of array as parameter? Class array. What array? Class array. C cap letter. Class array. What class array stores? Class objects. What integer array stores? Integer values. What employee array stores? Employee objects. Employee array stores employee objects. What is there in that? Suppose I am creating employee EARR is equal to new employee of E1 comma E2 comma E3 comma E4 comma E5. Let us say E1, E2, E3, E4 employee objects. Now you tell me this is called what type of array? Employee array. Tell me this employee array stores what objects? Employee. What are E1, E2, E3, E4, E5? Employee objects. 5 objects. This is called what type of array? Employee. This is employee array. This is what array? Class array. Class array stores what objects? Class objects. This is the first class object. This is the second class object. So when to pass a class array as parameter? If there is one configuration class or if there is more than one configuration class? If there is more than one configuration class. If there is more than one configuration class, then we can use class array. We can pass class array as a parameter. That's what I want to say. Done. I want to add these statements. Okay, my statement is, okay. Now tell me to start the Spring container. Who is a Spring container? Application context. Can I use Bean Factory container? No. Bean Factory container is only limited to use XML, but we are out of XML now. We are working with what now? Annotations, not XML. That's why Bean Factory container is not allowed. Only which container we need to use? Application context. Okay, if I ask a question, tell me in Spring Boot, Bean Factory container is used or application context container is used. Some question is asked in interview. Then what's the answer you have to say? Because I told already, of course, we have not entered Spring Boot, but I told this point already. Spring Boot does not allow XML configurations. In Spring Boot, we have to use only annotations, Then tell me which type of container will be started in Spring Boot? Application context, not the Bean Factory. So to start the Spring container, that is application context, I'm writing in brackets. Okay, we have to use or we have to instantiate anything. We have to instantiate annotation config application context class. Okay, correct. Next. To the annotation config application context, object, we should provide class, C capital, class object of configuration class. We should provide what object? Class object of configuration class as parameter. Okay, we should provide class object of configuration class as a parameter. Are you able to get my point now? So try to understand now. We should provide class object of configuration class as a parameter. Okay, good. Example. Tell me how to write. How to write? Application context. Context is equal to new annotation config application context of guys, everybody is online. Are you understanding this? What I'm trying to say? Annotation config application context of what should I pass?
Yes, sir.
App config dot class. App config dot class. Am I clear with that? Very good. So tell me if multiple configuration classes are available. Next statement. If more than one configuration class exists, then what is that? If more than one configuration class exists, then what we should pass? Yes, if more than one configuration class exists, then we should provide what array? We should pass class array. We should pass class array as parameter. Example. Application context. Context is equal to what I can write new annotation config application context of new class array of app config one dot class, app config one dot class, comma app config two dot class. App config two dot class. So whatever the things required to start application with XML, sorry, with annotations. If you know these annotations, then we can able to start writing the application using annotations first. We can write one example with what? Annotations next. Yes, we are going to next one example and we are going to use annotations in that. Okay, correct? Use service, repository, some like that. Okay, then we are going to use auto word annotation next. I need to explain that. At the rate auto word annotation is available. So that is one more annotation. Without that, we can't write the example. The next annotation that I'm going to explain, that is called at the rate auto void. This is very, very important annotation. Very, very important annotation, which we are going to use in every Spring application, including in Spring Boot and also in microservices. Definitely, we are going to use. This is the topmost annotation that we must know perfectly to work with the Spring Boot and microservices. What's the annotation name? At the rate auto void. At the rate auto void. You know what is auto wiring? Wiring means what? Connecting. You are connecting a dependent with the dependencies is called wiring. You know what is auto wiring? What is the meaning of auto wiring? The Spring container will automatically inject the dependency objects to the dependent object by without writing any information or configuration in the XML file. That is called what? Auto wiring. It's a facility given by Spring. Am I right or not? Right. We are writing auto wire is equal to by name, by type like that. But now we are in annotations. So we cannot write XML now. So which annotation is provided to do the same thing? At the rate auto wire. So this annotation is also used for auto wiring only. Auto wiring means what? Injecting the dependencies automatically to the dependent object by the container. Am I right or not? That's called auto wiring. Which annotation is given to do auto wiring now? At the rate auto wire. It's a simple story. It's not going to complete if I start now also. I'll stop here and tomorrow I'll talk about this annotation. It's very important annotation. At the rate auto word is a very important, very, very important annotation that we are going to discuss. After once you got the auto word annotation, then we'll start tomorrow an example with all these annotations. Okay. Of course, controller, REST controller, these annotations we are not going to discuss or use now, but other annotations we can add: service, repository, component scan, configuration, bean method, and auto void, we are going to use them. With all the other annotations, we are going to start writing the application. Tomorrow, we are going to see that. Okay. That's it for today. Thanks. Folks, if you have any query, you can ask me. I'll share the notes today. You can go through these annotations.